Remember the last battle where I talked about how Scizor was an absolute monster under the right conditions? Well, the right conditions are here for my Scizor for a change. But will it be enough to win us the game? How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we're going to battle versus Mamba in the OU tier from the Discord server. Go ahead and join the Discord server. It is the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles right now. There is a link in the description down below. And looking at the team, they got like a little bit of a snow team going on with a Beartic, probably Slush Rush. They got the Chilly Reception on the Slowbro, as well as the Alolan Ninetales to stop the snow as well. They've got the Ogerpon Wellspring, which is obviously a threat. It pretty much 1v1s my entire team looking at it, which is very terrifying. And then they've got the Dusclops, which is really nice to see. So Violet Dusclops is very bulky. So I'm looking at their team, I'm thinking they definitely either lead with the Ninetales or the Slowbro, right? One of the two. So should I lead off with, for example, Milotic, get a flip turn off right away? Or should I lead off with the Electros, get a nice and powerful knockoff off, or a Flamethrower? One of the two, or we can live with Scizor. Scizor's a good one, actually. I think I'll lead with Scizor. Scizor handles the Ninetales just fine. Stops them from setting up a screen. And it can U-turn on the Slowking. So, you know, hopefully they don't lead with Cinderace. But if they do, we'll just go Milotic. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Mamba. They're going to lead off with Bugs, the Cinderace, countering my Scizor lead. So we're already off to a bit of a rocky start, but it's absolutely fine. We have a switch in. We have, like I said, if they lead Cinderace on our Scizor, we just go Milotic, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. If they go for a U-turn expecting the switch, then we at least get some Rocky Helmet chip damage off on the Cinderace, which, you know, could matter in the end later on down the line. So we'll bring in Milotic, old Aquarius over here. They do go straight for the Pyro Ball. They went straight for the kill. Straight for the kill. No burn, which is nice. We can go for a Scald pretty much on whatever we want, but I'm going to go for that flip turn first. I think they're definitely going to switch out here, and I want to make sure I get a bit of momentum. So they do go for a U-turn, which is going to turn them into a Bug type thanks to the Libero. Get a bit of chip damage off of Milotic, but we get a little bit of Rocky Helmet chip as well, which is great. Now, they are probably going to go into the Ogerpon here with the Water Absorb, but I went for the flip turn anyway, just on the off chance they didn't do that, and they like went into something else. I'm hoping to see a Ninetale switch personally. Toxic Queen. That's going to be the Slowking. Yeah, that's the Slowking. So the Slowking comes in. Nice and powerful Galarian Slowking. We go for a flip turn. Again, flip turn was risky because they could have brought the Ogerpon in. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I don't know. Ogerpon has Water Absorb if you didn't know. Pretty much. So what we can do now is, now that this thing's in, we've got a couple of options. Looking at that team, nothing really wants to take a Earthquake or a knockoff combination. So I think I will go into the Crocodile right now, and we'll go straight for a knockoff. If they won't bring Dusclops in, but if they bring the Ninetales in, knocking off its item is going to be pretty useful. So I'm going to go for a knockoff real quick. If they bring in the Alolan Ninetales and we can knock off its Light Clay, that's going to be really useful. We go for a knockoff, they stay in, and they tank it like a champ, losing their Icy Rock as they go for a Chilly Reception. So that is pretty good on my opponent's behalf right there. Getting that Chilly Reception off is definitely going to be beneficial to them, as it is obviously going to... But the snow's not going to last nearly as long. So what are they going to do here? Are they going to go straight into the Beartic? If they go into the Beartic, it's not the worst situation in the world, because we do have the Focus Sash. In comes Bud, which is going to be what? The Beartic. Nice and shiny with the purple claws. Okay, so we're in a bit of a pickle now. My best switch is probably Milotic, so I'm going to go for it. I think Milotic is the best switch, and we'll try and get a recover off if we can. Depends how well we tank this close combat / Icicle Crash that's come in. Withdrawing our Crocodile, we're going to go into my Milotic, who can hopefully tank an Icicle Crash right now. But I feel like they're going for a Liquidation or a close combat being the worst. They go for a Bulk Up. That's just turned terrifying all of a sudden. That Beartic is now terrifying. We need a Scald burn right now, so I'm going to go for that Scald. I'm pretty confident Milotic can take a close combat from this thing, unless it Terra Fightings, in which case, no. But if it... No, they go for an EQ. EQ's going to sting, but it isn't enough to KO all Milotic over here as we go for a Scald, get some valuable chip damage off with no burn, but we do find out what item they've got being the Leftovers. So, that's good. Maybe I should have gone for a recover there, but, you know, it's fine. If we know they're going to go for an Earthquake again, they don't need to go for an Earthquake, though. That's the thing. They don't need to go for an Earthquake. So we could go Scizor. We could go Scizor if we expect them to switch up moves, expecting us to switch out. Does it matter if I lose my Milotic now? I mean, probably not. It's just set up fodder for the Ogerpon, really. Let's go for another Scald. They go for another EQ, they take us out. That's fine. So, my Milotic does go down, but it is not in vain, as we are able to bring in our Scizor now and hopefully finish this thing off, since we have the Punching Glove item. And we've got some decent tankiness to us. Scizor actually goes pretty hard against their team. Pretty hard. So I am going to go in Scizor. I think Scizor is the best option we've got. I guess in hindsight, if I knew they were going to go for the EQ on the Milotic, I could have gone into Electros, but at the same time, I didn't know for a fact they would finish me off with the Earthquake, because they didn't need to use Earthquake to finish me off. They could have finished me off with Icicle Crash, you know, predicting the switch. So I'm going to go for that Bullet Punch real quick. Maybe I should have Terra'd. No, I don't think I should have Terra'd. I think going for a Bullet Punch now is fine. Okay, so they're going to withdraw. They don't want to take a Bullet Punch to the face. That's fair enough. And they're going to go into 2 Blood, which is going to be what? The Dusclops. The Dusclops comes in. We could have knockoff, for all they know. We don't. But we could have had that knockoff. So let's go for a BP. Going to do a bit of chip damage to them. The snow does stop as well, which is nice. And now we go straight for a U-turn, because this thing is going to Will-O-Wisp us into oblivion otherwise. U-turn comes through. A little bit of chip on the Dusclops. It is very bulky thanks to the Violet. May have low HP, but when your defenses are that high, you know, it's not that big of a deal. So if they're going to burn us, what's our best bet? Probably going to be the Dragapult, so we can go for a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball hurts pretty much everything on that team as well, which is good. So I think I will go Dragapult here, and hopefully they don't predict that and they randomly have like Poltergeist on this thing, because that'd be annoying. Will-O-Wisp. Okay, so I don't mind my Dragapult being burned. They did go for the Will-O-Wisp as predicted, which is good. That's why I went into my special attacker. We just go for a Shadow Ball here. We just go straight for a Shadow Ball here. That's all we need to do. So we go for a Shadow Ball. They actually stay in to try and tank it. I wonder if they will. Dusclops, oh wow, it took it like a champ. Special defense drop, which is nice, but they go for a Poltergeist. I should have known, but luckily they don't have that good offensive stats. So we can live that. There we go. We live that like a champ. I mean, it did more damage than I thought it would, but Dragapult is pretty frail. I got to try and remember that. So let's go for a Shadow Ball again. Take this thing out. Take this clown out. And then we have one less Pokemon switch into our Scizor. Shadow Ball comes through. And down goes the Dusclops, which is amazing. So we finally got a KO on one of their Pokemon, and it would be the bulkiest Pokemon on their team. No, actually, I think Galarian Slowking's probably a bit more bulky. So we have one more turn of Dragapult left. What are they going to do? If they go into the Cinderace, we know we're going to have a Sucker Punch in our face. If they go into anything else, we can probably handle it. Snow White comes in, which is going to be the Ninetales. So, obviously, the best thing I can do here is to go for another Shadow Ball, right? So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for another Shadow Ball, get as much damage off on this Ninetales as I possibly can. They're probably going to set up the Aurora Veil, which we can try and work around later, but it's going to be a tough one. Shadow Ball comes through. Dragapult gets some valuable damage off on the Ninetales, actually getting a critical hit, which nearly takes them out. They go for the Aurora Veil, and now they are easy pickings for whatever we want to bring in next. And what I'm thinking of doing here is... No, they're a Fairy type. I was going to say what I'm thinking of doing is going to Crocodile, but I don't think that's the best idea. I think the best thing we can do really is either go Electros, just because it'll hurt everything on the team, really. Volt Switch really hurts. So I think I'm going to go Electros. Electros can take any hit from this Ninetales. Like, I would go into Scizor and Bullet Punch, but it's just bait for the Cinderace to come in. And we don't really want that. So I think Volt Switch is the best thing to go for here. They're going to withdraw the Ninetales. They want to preserve it for later, which is fair enough. They could also use it for fodder if they want to. And they're going to go into Fiona, which is going to be the Ogerpon. They're expecting a Flamethrower or something. I don't know, but I'm going for that Volt Switch. It does diddly squat. It does diddly squat thanks to that Aurora Veil. So that's unfortunate. So Ogerpon is in. And Terrifying. Did I mention Terrifying? Yes. So I think I'm going to have to go into Scizor here. And I'm going to have to go for that U-turn. Now, whether they Terra with this thing or not, I'm not sure. But I'm confident we can take an Ivy Cudgel. So I am going to go for that U-turn. Just hopefully they don't Terra and they switch out here. So they go for a knockoff, which is fine. That's going to knock off our Punching Glove. And we go for a U-turn, which is super effective, and that's going to do a lot of damage to the Ogerpon. But it's not enough. It is not enough, unfortunately. So, what do? We got a couple of options. We could Scale Shot this thing. Get a speed boost, go from there. We could do that. But the snow's going to be up for a little while. Okay. What can we do? We're probably better off going into the Electros. Going for a Giga Drain or Volt Switch, I think. I mean, the Electros isn't doing... the main thing I'm trying to do here is stall out the Aurora Veil / Snow. Pretty much. So, let's go into Electros. There we go. We'll just go straight for a... Let's just go for a Volt Switch. It's going to be slower than them anyway. They can knock us off if they really want to. And then we can come in and finish this thing off with a Scizor's Bullet Punch. So they go for a U-turn, which is going to do a bit of chip damage to our Electros, which is absolutely fine. And now they probably go into, what? The Ninetales to sack it off, or the Slowking? Toxic Queen comes in, which is the Slowking. So provides valuable regeneration for its health. We go for a Volt Switch, which is going to do nothing, obviously, thanks to the Aurora Veil. And just the fact that it's a special monster. We can go into whatever we want, though, to take this thing on. I'm leaning towards the Crocodile, because Earthquake does a lot of damage to their whole team. But the Aurora Veil is up. That's the thing that we got to worry about. The Aurora Veil is up. So we could go for a Bulk Up Scale Shot combo, which could work out for us. Or we can go Scizor here and go for a U-turn. Or we can go to our own Slowking and set up a Future Sight. Future Sight could actually be clutch. I'm going to go into my Slowking. I'm going to go into Drip Queen over here. Nice and shiny. Gotta love it. Just like my opponents. And then we'll just go for a Future Sight because they have no Dark types, but they haven't Terra'd yet. So we don't know for a definite that they haven't got any Dark types. So they go for a Future Sight of their own, which is going to sting later, but at the same time, it might not. So we go for a Future Sight, and then what we'll do is we'll go for a Chilly Reception because we are obviously slower than their Slowking. The snow is going to stop. Now, here's the thing. They're going to go for a Chilly Reception anyway, so we may as well do the same thing. We may as well do the same thing, get that momentum going, because there we go. Toxic Queen is going to tell a chilling bad joke, just like I am, and they're going to get the snow back up. But they lost the Icy Rock, so the snow isn't going to last that long. But will it be long enough for their Beartic to tear through my team? That is the only thing I'm concerned about. That is the main thing that I'm concerned about. Bugs is coming in, which is going to be the Cinderace. So Cinderace coming in is obviously a bad time for us, but we're going to go for that chillingly bad joke real quick. It's going to fail because the snow's already up, but it still switches us out anyway. There we go. And then we're going to go into something that can deal with this last Pokemon. So I think Scizor is our win condition, looking at the rest of their team. But I kind of want to go into Crook, because obviously Future Sight's coming. So I think I'm going to go into the Crocodile. Future Sight's going to hit the Cinderace as well, but they have got the Aurora Veil up, so that's going to mitigate some of that damage. So what we can do now is we can go for a Earthquake, or we can go for a Scale Shot. Scale Shot would have worked pretty well, to be fair. They could go for a U-turn now, which is obviously going to hurt, and then they could just go straight into the Ninetales. So I think I'm going to go for an EQ. They do go for a Will-O-Wisp. Okay. Wasn't expecting the Will-O-Wisp off of the Cinderace. That is unfortunate. So they have two Will-O-Wisp users on their team. We go for an EQ. It's obviously not going to KO the Cinderace now, but hopefully after the Future Sight attack. But we're a Dark type. We're taking that like a champ. They, however, are still taking it like a champ. So that's unfortunate. However, looking at the way they have Will-O-Wisp, I'm going to guess they don't have anything like, for example... I'm guessing they don't have high jump kicks, what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to go for a knockoff right now. Because they're going to U-turn anyway. And we can definitely live that, right? We can live a U-turn. We barely live the U-turn. Which means we get a knockoff off on something. Probably going to be the Slowking. Or it might be a Sack Ninetales play. Which also works just nicely for us. Toxic Queen comes back in. So it's pretty much back at full health now. Not really, but it has got a lot of health. We go for a knockoff. Get a bit of chip damage off on the Slowking, then we go down to the burn. So this Slowking is going to be difficult for us to break through, that's for sure. The only problem we've got, really, is their Aurora Veil has just wore off. So we might be in a bit of a better position than I thought we would be. Cool. So I think Slowking can actually do this, but I'm going to go Scizor. I think if I'm going to Tera, I'm going to Tera Scizor. Yeah, I think Scizor is the Tera to go for. So I'm going to go into Scizor real quick. There we go. Bring in old Crimsonite. We have lost the punching glove, so we've got a little bit less extra power on the bullet punches, but I have a strong feeling that they don't have Fire Blast and that we're going to be able to get a Swords Dance off. Because looking at the rest of their team, I think the only way we win is if we get a Swords Dance off right now. I Terra Steel, so I'm pure Steel, and that way we might be able to take a Fire Blast from this thing. But I doubt it. but I'm banking on them not having that because they have Future Sight, which tells me they don't have Fire Blast. Future Sight's Chilling Reception, probably Sludge Bomb and then Slack Off. So I'm going to go for that Swords Dance. I really am going to go for that Swords Dance right now. They probably go for a Chilling Reception of their own. But if I can get a Swords Dance off here, we may have another thumbnail that's a Swords Dancing Scizor. But it's fine. We can handle it. Scizor's going to come through right now. Scizor is going to come through right now. Watch. We go for a Swords Dance. Watch them have Fire Blast. Watch them have Fire Blast and miss. That'll be the most satisfying thing ever. Flamethrower. Can we live that? We lived! We lived! We lived! That's clutch. Let's go for that BP. Hopefully the BP actually KOs. If the BP KOs, we're actually winning this. So we go for a Bullet Punch, boosted by Tera, +2 attack, boosted by Technician, stab, takes out the Slowking. Awesome. Awesome. And looking at the rest of their team, other than Tera, I think we may have them. The Snow has just stopped as well, which is like amazing. In comes Snow White. So Snow White, the Ninetales is coming in. Going to get that Snow back up for the Beartic, which is fair enough. It's going to boost the Beartic's defenses. However, we definitely get the KO on Snow White because Steel doesn't have any immunities and they're pretty much all weakened now. So if we can just go for a Bullet Punch on everything, that'd be absolutely amazing. So there's the Ninetales gone. There's the Ninetales gone. Scizor once again coming through. It might have to be another Scizor video. I mean, it might. It just might. It just might. So in comes Bud now, which is, of course, the Beartic. This is their last chance, really, of getting past this Scizor. And that's only if it can live the Bullet Punch. I mean, it's in snow. It gets the physical defense boost in the snow. So it might live, especially if they Tera. But if they Tera, they lose their defense boost. So they have to Tera in something that's going to resist Steel. Like, not Ground. Because Ground doesn't resist Steel. So we may have a chance of KOing here, thanks to them losing their physical defense buff from being not being an Ice type anymore. So we go for the BP. And it KOs the Beartic without any problems. So the Tera is gone. We don't have to worry about that anymore, which is amazing. Amazing. Scizor coming through. I should just use the same thumbnail again, but I'm not. Let's see how this goes. So Bugs is coming in, and will they have Sucker Punch on this thing? That's the real question. Will they have Sucker Punch on this thing? If they have Sucker Punch, then it's all Ogre. It's all Ogre now, if they have Sucker Punch. But if they had Sucker Punch, they'd bring it in earlier. They don't have Sucker Punch. We go for a Bullet Punch. That's going to take out the Cinderace from there, no problems. Down it goes. Scizor once again. How hype that is. Scizor is proving to be such a good Pokemon right now. In the OU tier. Scizor is proving to be a monster right now. An absolute monster. So let's go for a Bullet Punch, finish this Ogerpon off. I have no doubt in my mind that they do not live this. As there we go with 15 seconds left of the game. Down they go, and that is game of the game. So GG Mamba, that was a really fun one. Came right down to the timer, right down to the wire. Scizor come through at the end, absolutely brilliant. But anyway, here is the team. If you want to try it out, use the code at the top right corner of the screen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.